everyone, welcome
Hi!
to Chapter 6 of ImproviNovel.
Improving the noveling.
So, last chapter.
Last chapter, you can do the recap on this one.
Alright. Cameron takes Avery back to the house that she allegedly broke into, but find out later that Cameron actually bought this house, and it's where he's housing Hugh, Rix, and the new kid, Barry, who we find out was the bear. So basically, these, how many boys is it? 4 boys?
Yeah.
These 4 boys have magical powers, or as Hugh said, magical lips, but he didn't mean it like that. Basically, they'd been trying to put spells on Avery and Samantha the entire night. That made everything all jumbled for them, and that's why nothing was making sense, and why Samantha was acting like a crazy person, because she actually had her mind and memory redone 3 times.
By 3 different guys.
3 different guys, all kissing her. It was traumatizing, I'm sure.
That poor girl.
So,
a hotbed of
more
chaos.
importantly, Cameron reveals that the spells that they did on Samantha were not working on Avery at all. And in fact, he was the one that tried to do the spell on her, so kissed her, which freaked Avery out, of course.
Which, didn't know that. Also, she discovered that Rix kissed her. That's why Rix found her wandering the streets.
Lol.
By the bear.
So maybe she was going crazy because all this magic stuff was going on. And the story about Cameron crashing his car, and the story about the sheriff and the deputy and all those people catching a bear, it was all fabricated by the boys to try and cover up everything so that Avery wouldn't remember. But the spell didn't work. She put it all together, and Cameron knew that she knew, apparently. So it's like, hey, I'm just going to tell you.
Just can't tell anybody else.
Yeah, so Rix can turn into a fox, Barry can turn into a bear, Cameron can turn into a hawk, and Hugh is a cat with a blue ear. So then at the very end of the chapter, well, not the very end, first Avery wants Cameron to apologize to Samantha for kissing her and like break it off so that she doesn't go like crazy, because Cameron said that he can't have a relationship, so Avery's like, well, he got ended then. But instead, Cameron sends Hugh, and Hugh puts another spell on Samantha. So now Samantha thinks that Hugh is her boyfriend.
Which is Avery's own personal hell.
It's great.
That'll be amazing.
So Avery, filled with all the confusion, heads back home, hears yelling voices inside, including her father's voice and Mr. Alexander's voice. She opens the door. Mr. Alexander's like, it's gonna be okay, and everything goes white.
It starts off where Avery, she's in a dream. She doesn't know she's in a dream currently. She just thinks this is real.
Okay.
She's just with Samantha, just hanging out. But Samantha is blabbering on like she tends to do. But this time, instead of blabbering on about Cameron, she's blabbering on about Hugh. Because Hugh is her boyfriend now.
Yeah.
She loves him.
Blue hair, and it's so cute because it's like a woo, and then
It's like, oh my god, Avery, Hugh, blue. They kind of rhyme.
They go together, like we go together, and it's like soulmates.
And in this dream sequence, Avery is just slowly wishing she can punch herself in the face. Then in the dream sequence, Avery is feeling like this very like obnoxious pain in the side of her head. It's kind of like she did punch herself in the face. But as she's starting to drift out of the dream, and she ends up waking up, and she wakes up in this like rumbling carriage of sorts. Not a car, not like, a scooter. No, she's in a carriage, like a proper, like
all
fantastic.
wooden.
Yeah.
It smells wooden. She's
And
like,
it's like there's cushions. Like it's like those royal carriages. They're not like, the shitty carriages that peasants had.
Yeah.
It's royal.
Tall, royal shiz.
Royal shit. So she wakes up and she realizes her head was hurting because she had it leaned up against the side, and with the rumbling and just banging her head against the fucking window thing.
Whatever.
Which is just bad. Don't do that ever. Highly.
It's not
don't.
good.
No. So she wakes up and she panics, essentially. She has no idea where she is because the last thing she remembers is she was going home. She panics, but then a familiar voice calms her down. It's Mr. Alexander. But he's no longer in his usual bookstore's attire of a white collared shirt and black pants. He is now in like full-on regal robes of sorts, just looking.
Oh yes.
They're looking fantastic. And she's just like, are we about to LARP? Like, what's happening? I don't understand what's going on.
Oh, Avery, LARP. Oh, you precious.
So he's like trying to calm her down. He's basically talking the way he's talked to her in the real world so that she can kind of calm down and relax.
Mhm.
And he just looks at her because they're the only two in the carriage.
Yeah.
There's people outside the carriage because they're the ones leading the horses, but they're the only two in the carriage. And he looks at her and he's like, "You're home now." She's like, "This is definitely not home. This doesn't look at all like my house. I'm pretty sure we're in a moving vehicle, so definitely wrong there." And he's just like, "Stop it. Stop talking. Shut up."
Shut.
And he's just like, "You're home now. You're going to go meet your mom." And she's like, "But my mom's dead."
What now?
Like, she's just confused because she's like, her dad told her that her mom left them. He never really put it into words what happened. She just presumed that she's dead and that it was just his way of like not breaking the news to her. But her adult mind just like, oh, well, she's probably dead. Why wouldn't anyone want me? I'm great.
I'm wonderful. I'm Avery. Have you
I'm
not
the
heard
best.
of me?
I'm the best daughter ever. And she's just very confused. And he's just like, just relax for now. You've had a long trip. I'll wake you up when we're at the palace. She's like, what?
Palace?
And he puts his hand on her forehead and he's like, go to sleep. So she falls asleep because he's magical and he does that kind of shit.
Legolas.
Legolas.
Gross.
I'm just like, I can't wait until we get further in because they're still gonna have their inside jokes and stuff, but they're now in like a completely different world, and so those inside jokes mean nothing. and he's just gonna be like saying shit, and they're like gonna be joking around, and then everyone else is gonna be like, what? And they're just like, shit. And he's like, he's an important figure in this world, so he's just like, shut up, Avery, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. You're making me look bad. Stop it, stop it. So Avery has gone back to sleep due to Alexander's glorious help. So when she wakes up, she's being ushered out of the carriage, with the help of Alexander. He's like holding her hand out. And like apparently she was awake enough to slowly begin to stand up, but now she's fully awake. And so he's pulling her out of the carriage. She's walking slowly. And as she steps out into the bright as sunlight, she sees this giant castle just in front of her. She's just like, and he's like, welcome home, princess. And she's like, what? She's just utterly confused, like completely confused. And they walk through it, and like as they're walking towards the doors, there's guards everywhere, and they're just bowing slowly. And as they walk further, Avery notices that something's really off about this world. Like, it feels weird. Like, it doesn't feel like how stable, essentially. It feels slightly, like, wavering, almost, like, as she's walking through. Like, she's watching, like, a TV on a show on a projector, and, like, somebody moves the screen that's on. It's all wiggly. Yeah. So she has that feeling. Like, it doesn't visually look that way. It just feels that way. It's just kind of hard to, like, visualize, but so they're walking through and Alexander's leading her, and she's like, okay, Alexander, you can stop the facade. What's going on? You've got my full attention, I promise. And he just laughs.
Oh, darling.
You're so cute. He's basically just like, everything will be explained shortly. And as they walk through, they go up through the palace, and like they go straight into the throne room, where sitting on a gigantic, glorious throne is a beautiful woman, but she's like frail and very like, she looks like she's sick. And so as they walk up, the woman stands slowly with the help of two guards on her side, and she's like, she breaks out into a smile, and instantly Avery sees the resemblance. She sees instantly how like that could potentially be her mother. And so the woman slowly walks forward, and they're stopped in front of the throne and all that jazz. And the woman walks forward, and she's like, "My daughter is here," and Avery's just like, "What? Who are you? I'm sorry. I'm drastically confused. If this is a weird way of trying to get back in touch with your daughter, it took it a little bit too far. Like, I know I'm a nerd and I like fantasy, but this is like a whole nother level of weird." And out of nowhere, she's just like perplexed by her words.
Yeah.
And Alexander's like, "I'm sorry, Your Highness. She's grown up in the other world. She doesn't exactly know how to talk very well." And the queen's like, "We have to teach her. There's not enough time." And Avery's just like confused and perplexed and just like staring with her mouth open, like trying to fathom. And her mother looks at her and she's like, "I'm dying, Avery. And you need to take the throne. You're the only heir."
Oh,
and Avery's just like,
is that what this is?
and then she's just like, what? Where are we?
Yeah.
And Alexander's just like, we're in the fairy world. And she's just like,
Good. Good. I was hoping.
Exactly what I thought you were going to say.
It's all good now. I left my purse. Olby just starts running.
Immediately Alexander forces her to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, "Avery, listen to me. This is where you belong." She's like, "I don't even know where is. Where is this on a map?" He's like, "It's not on a map, Avery. We're in another dimension." She's like,
Good.
Of course we are. Alexander, are you the one who's gone crazy? Because I think it's you who's gone crazy.
Where's the bear?
Where's the bear? Where's the bear, Alexander? And he's just like, "Avery, stop it.
Her mom is just
embarrassing me." Yeah, pretty much. "Avery, you're embarrassing me. Stop it."
Mr. Alexander, who the fuck are these people?
"Mr. Alexander, you're freaking me the crap out." And he's just like, "You are the only heir to the Queen of the Fairies. You need to accept the responsibility that you were destined to have." She's like, "I haven't even picked the college I want to go to."
You're not going to college.
"Oh, great, thanks. Cool, I figured that one. God damn it."
It's like one of the guards said that. You're not going to college. Thanks!
Thanks, sir.
My name's Rob.
No, they have like weird names.
My name's Rob Doobdiglis.
Wow. It is called Lerring, apparently.
Lerring?
Lerring. Like Lerring. And so Alexander explains that. He's like, "This is Lerring. It's the dimension of the fairies." He's like, great. Cool.
Sure. I'm okay with this.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. It's like, "My name is not Alexander." "Oh, great! Great! Perfect! Lying to me on top of kidnapping? You kidnapped me." And he's like, "We do not kidnap, right? Everyone that comes into this dimension is a willing participant." She's like, "Oh yeah, because I'm totally willing when I was unconscious." He's like, "You wouldn't have been able to get through if you weren't willing." Okay. Perfect.
Great. Is this another one of those kissing spells? Where's Cameron?
Is Cameron here? Hugh. Hugh's probably here. Is there a cat with a blue ear? Don't believe it. It's not a cat.
What are you talking about?
Avery, shut up.
We'll deal with your psychosis later.
"Alexander, I'm freaking out. Explain to me." And then her mom interjects and like, "What is there to explain? Everything's already been explained. You are the future queen, and you're home now. That bastard man took you away from me, and now you're home." And she's like, My dad? What? My dad kidnapped me? Whoa. Forrest Hal. We're all thinking of the same guy, right? Forrest Hal, who talks to imaginary people in a computer who are pretending to be gargoyles.
Yeah. Don't know what a computer is, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And like Alexander's like, your father took you away when you were just a baby. Your father is your father. It's not like he found his way into this dimension and just took you away. He was a human who, how do I say this without making it seem really bad?
Oh no.
She's like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, fairies have slowly become infertile. She's like, great, interesting. Sorry.
Thumbs up, A+, 10 out of 10.
And he's like, it's like, Avery, stop it.
I don't know anymore.
I'm so confused. And he's like,
she's gonna like pass out with camera and stuff, and now all this. She's like, I have gone insane.
literally, Samantha was right. This insane one was right.
I'm in the loony bin, aren't I? This is
Really.
it. This is
This
it.
is what it looks like. It's just like, it's like, over the years, male and female fairies have not been able to make children. Great, cool, awesome. We find willing humans to come into our dimension to mate with other. Yes, Avery, have sex.
She's like, just down to hand motion. She can't even talk.
Great. He's like, your father was willing in the beginning, but grew distant. He was tricked coming into the world, and he was not pleased. Is that a good way? She looks at him.
I can relate.
And she's like looking at him, and she's like, was my father a sex slave? And the queen is just like, all the men who mate with the queen are sex slaves. What? I have many suitors.
I ain't doing that.
No,
Rule number 1, none of that.
Not happening. And she's like, it's the only way to guarantee that I would bear a child.
The only way.
The only way to have sex with like a billion dudes.
The only way.
Gross. So my mom is a whore.
Great.
My dad was kidnapped.
Great.
And sold into sex slavery.
Wonderful. 10 out of 10. Best town ever.
And Alexander's just like, it's not what you think. I'm like, oh, really? Because it sounds.
I think it's what I think.
I'm pretty sure I just laid it out. My mom kidnapped my dad, forced him to have sex with her so that she could have a child, had me, and my father decided to take me away so that I wouldn't have to do the same things my mother did. Also, to not become a queen. Also, because he probably hated this place because, being sold into sex slavery. He wasn't sold, Avery, like, it sounds like he was sold. I mean, just saying.
Money had to be transferred somewhere.
I mean, clearly someone had to pay somebody so he could get tricked into coming to this world.
Everyone knows that fairies are capitalists. Come on.
Have you not read the books? We sell them in your bookstore. Alexander, come on. Like, Avery, shut up.
You are embarrassing me. I believe this. We wash cups together.
Just can't. She's like, you can't. I can't. I've had a long day, and I want to go home. Now, I want to talk to my dad, and I want to go home. He's just like, you are home, Avery. There's no going back now. I'm like, oh, yeah, fuck that. There's no going back. I'm going back. He's like, you can't. You're stuck here now. You're tied to the land, and the land knows it. You're done. You're
Well.
here forever. She's like, oh, great. And then she passes out.
Maybe she thinks, now I wish that Cameron's spell would work on me so I can't remember any of this, and then she passes out. Aw.
Poor Avery.
That poor brain.
She's had a long day. So that's basically Avery's backstory in one chapter.
Oh. Chapter 6, cleaning up.
Yeah, just taking care of all of that nonsense. Whew.
My goodness.
I was trying to find a way to tie it in. I was like, I gotta get at some point. She's gotta go to the world, because when she gets to the world, she's stuck there because of fairy law.
Yeah.
So, gotta get her there somehow.
But yeah, that was chapter 6. Yay!
Oh, so many things
Oh,
happened.
the backstory.
What?
All right, tune in next time, and I guess we'll see how the boys are connected to this. No idea.
Yeah!
And let's see what happens to Samantha.
Hopefully she's okay.
We'll see. Question mark. Bye.
Bye?
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Oh man, I wanted her to yell, you're not an elf? You lied to me?
And then she passes.
A fairy? A fairy. So you're not an elf.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Fine, whatever.
Got little dinky wings. Whatever.
Guess you can't see with your elf eyes.
There's no crows in here. No crows. No crows.
You're just like, hey, that hurts.
It hurts. My heart parts.